Good morning. Welcome to Tiempo. My name is Miguel Perez.
And I'm Anna Carbonell.
Every Sunday morning on this program, Anna and I will be bringing you a small slice of Latin New York.
Just a little slice.
We'll be talking to the people in the Hispanic community who are involved in the community, the role models in entertainment, in the arts, in sports, and we'll be discussing with them the issues that concern the 3 million people who live in Latin New York. Are you excited about our first show?
Oh, I'm so excited. It's a great opportunity to talk about the achievements, the real achievements that are taking place out there within the community, the impact on all of us. And on today's show, Miguel will be talking to Exsigente, who you all remember in the coffee commercials. And I will be speaking to Plácido Domingo, one of the greatest tenors in our time. So just join us a little bit, a little tiempo.
We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Exercise is good for us.
There's increasing evidence that it will lengthen life.
Still, many of us find excuses not to exercise.
I just got lazy.
I don't have time.
It's time to stop making excuses, because starting Monday on Eyewitness News at 5, you can shape up with Storm.
I've done it and I've not done it. I know I'm better when I'm doing it.
You feel better about yourself?
You too can feel better about yourself. Watch Shape Up with Storm starting Monday on Eyewitness News at 5.
Higher and higher. No, it doesn't sound like that. Too bad, because then you could tell if you had high blood pressure. The Seventh-day Adventist Community Service vans are available year-round to check your blood pressure free of charge. High blood pressure can cause stroke and heart attacks. Call this number to find out when a community service van will be parked in your neighborhood. 212-468-2911. That's 212-468-2911.
Incredible bargains don't stay around long, so if you want a Siemens wall unit for just $4.99 to $7.99, you've got to act fast. Now, through Tuesday only, Siemens has handsome wall units at these low, low prices. Each three-piece unit is 90 inches or wider, and all have built-in lights and drop-lid desks or bar units. So hurry into Siemens for a wall unit at the bargain price of $4.99 to $7.99. Come in now, because bargains go fast.
Siemens first, the furniture department store.
Only Hertz gives you the best of both worlds. Not only do you get to choose from the most fantastic top-name gifts in the rent-a-car business, like a Cartier billfold, a Texas Instruments home computer, a Nikon camera, an RCA 19-inch color TV, and a whole lot more. But at the same time, you also earn points in the most fantastic travel awards program in the rent-a-car business. And now you have to June 30th to win both ways.
With us today is a man who's literally on top of the world, Plácido Domingo. Welcome, Plácido.
Thank you very much.
And I know that you're here for 2 months, and I want you to know that when I heard I was going to interview you, I thought, what do you ask someone who has been compared to the best tenor since Caruso, the man who is numero uno? So I want to ask you, how does it feel?
Well, I just think that I feel very happy to be in a position which some people might be thinking then you are, you know, one of the leading tenors in the musical world, because I really work very hard for it, but this is a matter of opinion. It's certainly, for some people I might be, for other people they might say, well, after all, why, you know? I do some of the most important work around the opera houses today in the world. So if you go for numbers, you might call me that, because I really am in every opera house,
well, I think
working very hard. Yes.
But let me ask you something. The climb to the top had to be real tough. But now that you're at the top, how is that? Is the struggle as tough or tougher now?
It's tougher. It's no doubt that every day becomes more and more difficult, because you live in a world of tremendous tension. You know that opera houses now, they are sold out because you are singing. So the responsibility is tremendous in every place. If there is a place, then you go continuously. Every day they are expecting something else, something better. If there is a new place, they have the right to make their own judgment, to say, well, we have heard and here it comes, he's a great tenor, but we want to have our opinion, you see? So it's always you are always working on a very thin como los equilibristas, ¿cómo se llaman? When you are walking on the
tightrope.
Yes, on the tightrope,
right.
And it's very dangerous, and you have to really have, especially your nerves, in the right place, because every day is more. Every day is not only the performances, but the interviews, the television.
And that's a big part of it,
yes,
isn't it?
Everything. The media is so much involved with what we do today, then there is a very, very exhausting kind of life. But I really know how to rest, so I take it a little easy on top of that.
Where are you from?
I'm from Madrid. I was born in Madrid, in Spain, and then I spent some of the years of my childhood and even to my youth in Mexico City, where I was married, and I have my wife is Mexican, and two of my children, or boys, because they are already big boys, two are Mexicans and one is American.
Oh, born here in the States?
Yes.
Let me ask you something. How did you get involved with opera? Was it in Mexico that you started?
Yes, I was involved. My parents, they were leading singers, and all their lives they have been singing music which is now every day more familiar. The American public is getting more familiar, and I'm doing something towards that goal, which is la zarzuela, Spanish music. And because of that, I was involved always in the theater. But later on, I had an intuition that it was something else than I could do, and that was the opera. And I was very lucky.
But so
really
you were
succeed.
singing, and what else did you? I understand you're a pianist.
A pianist. I was studying piano. I was studying conducting. I was playing piano. I was doing musical comedy. You name it. You know.
But why opera then? Why opera and not regular pop singing?
Well, I did also that. I was start singing popular songs and Mexican songs, and I was going to go into movies right away. But I find out that the maximum, when I discovered the world of opera, I realized that was the greatest. That was the most difficult thing to accomplish and the greatest thing to do. And as I tell you one thing, I tell you another one. There is nothing worse than a bad operatic performance. When nothing works in the opera, it's such a disillusion for me. I mean, it's terrible. Then you start to see everything. You start to see the unbelievable of the stories, the old-fashioned. You start to get to demand many things. But when opera is done in the way it should be done,
the total picture,
that's the complete magic, and there is no other thing on earth for me that can match a good performance of opera.
Let me ask you this. What do you hope to do with this opera career?
Well, the opera career now, it has arrived into a moment, and every day, as I tell you, I'm supposed to do more and more important things. So what I want to do is to be able to maintain the standard which I have arrived for several years, and do it with the most enthusiastic way, and not to punish the public singing too long, you know, once my best years will
punish me some more. It's great performances.
But I plan to enjoy the public, but not to punish them, really. You were asking me about...
Have you had any special personal projects that you're involved with now?
Well, I think that the special project, it has very much to do with what we are doing in this program, which is to go into the houses of many people which they are not aware of how big and how important the Spanish population in the United States it is. There is about 19 million people in the United States, which is an amazing number. And I think that it's very important that the level of our culture in all sides, it grows and becomes bigger. That's the reason I'm so much involved in this project of bringing the zarzuela music, you know, to establish a company in between New York, Los Angeles, and Miami, which can be three different companies, which it will be create, first of all, a job for about 450 people, and also to really give to the Spanish community, to the Spanish public, something of a beautiful level where they can go to the theater and enjoy it. Sometimes I think that they insult the feelings and they insult the intelligence of our people because they give them things that are almost too easy, you know? And you said, well, they like salsa, let's give them salsa. I don't think that that's right. If people like salsa, which why not? They should like it. But they should be able to know that there is something else, and something else, and something else. And they are ready to learn it.
Well,
and
I wish you a lot of luck with that.
Especially the Cuban and the Puerto Rican people, you know, which they have been growing up with zarzuela, so they know it about that.
Well, we've run out of time, but thank you for being with us, Placido, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Next, El Exigente.
Tonight at 11:15, following the winds of war.
Within minutes, we were what I would call a dead ship.
Caught completely by surprise, America wakes one Sunday to the sounds of war.
We didn't have any bombs in our B-17s. We didn't have any guns in our B-17s.
December 1941, Pearl Harbor explodes into World War II.
Any tears? A lot of tears. A lot of tears.
Bill Butel relives Pearl Harbor's path to war tonight at 11:15 on Channel 7.
What's up, Doc?
It's the Bugs Bunny Sports Spectacular, coming to Madison Square Garden's Felt Forum February 19th through 27th and March 5th and 6th. See everyone's favorite cartoon friends and superheroes, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Robin, live on stage, a family show winner. Your nearby Toys R Us store has a winning offer, too. A $1 discount coupon for children 12 and under for shows February 23rd through 25th, and see Jeffrey at these performances. The Bugs Bunny Sports Spectacular at the Felt Forum. Tickets at the Garden box office, Ticketron, or charge it, and visit Toys R Us for your discount coupon.
Since the early days of broadcasting, radio has changed. The trouble is, with all the changing, most stations are sounding alike, all news, music, or dull chatter. But now, you know, there's a stimulating alternative. WABC Talk Radio. It's involving, provocative, sometimes controversial. WABC Talk Radio is the alternative. You just can't ignore.
Did you know oven temperatures can vary as much as 75 degrees from what you set them for? But you still can't go wrong when you cook my big juicy oven stuffer roaster, because it comes with the Purdue Birdwatcher thermometer. When it pops, it's perfect. So even though you may not be able to trust your oven, you can be sure if it's Purdue.
With us today is a most demanding gentleman. He's known as El Exigente, Carlos Montalban. We're delighted to have you with us.
First of all, I'm not demanding. It's the thing, and everybody's scared of me. I'm a pussycat. I'm a very nice guy.
Okay, well, that's a good note to get started on here. But first of all, you are, because of the commercials, what I want to know is, do people, you know, you have created this image of El Exigente, a very demanding person. Do people expect you to be demanding, or when you
naturally
you have this image now?
I have the pleasure, the privilege to have invented the word that today El Exigente is also in the American vocabulary, one of the American vocabularies. But the idea is bad because there are two girls writing or chatting, and here comes the boss, you know. Here comes El Exigente, and I create furor, you know, he's going to kill me or something.
So people do more things for you then?
Fortunately, one thing is, for instance, if I'm in a bus or in a subway or something, without the hat, they look at me, and they keep looking at me. They know the face, but without the hat, thank God, no, because the kids drive me nuts with the
so you can get
with the autograph.
You can get by without the hat.
Without the hat, they look. I know this face, but they don't know it's El Exigente.
Well, people don't realize that the El Exigente role is a fairly new one for you. Before that, you've been involved in many movies, dubbing movies from English to Spanish and back and forth. Yeah. You've been a director. You've had your own theater. Which role did you like most? What do you prefer doing?
Well, as a rule, one of the things that I liked very, very much was during the war, when I was directing on NBC and CBS, and even here, the things were in shortwave for Latin America and Spain. And in that, I was able to create some, for instance, Rita Moreno. I started with when this kid, this guy was, I don't know, 7 years old.
Where was this? Here in New York?
Yes, here in New York, yes. And so I took it with me to NBC and CBS and here when we were doing those programs. And then when I had the theater, I took her over to the theater and she danced very well, and the rest is history. You know, I got some agents went there and she went to Hollywood. And it's a very, very, very nice kid. I'm very grateful.
Well, tell me about that theater. You started your own Puerto Rican-oriented theater here in the Bronx in the 1940s.
It was called the Puerto Rico Theater, but I brought all the big stars from Spain and all Latin America. And anybody was very big in Latin America or Spain. For instance, Maria Félix, Jorge Negrete, Pedro Infante, Imperio Argentina, Libertad Lamarque. I mean, I used to bring all these people. And the Puerto Ricans were... I had a theater that was dedicated to families. I didn't allow any vulgarity or anything like that. And boy, the Puerto Ricans really follow that. And then, naturally, all the other nationalities, because when I wrote a woman from Spain, for instance, all the Spaniards were there, and I brought Hugo El Carril from Argentina. Everybody was there. Sandrini, God bless his soul, he died about a year ago. And, you know, so it was I'm very proud of what I did because it tried to raise the culture and create a theatrical mood because these people here didn't used to go to the theater, you know. And so they went to the theater, and that I appreciate the good things and all that. So that's one thing I'm very proud of.
The Hispanic theater in New York has evolved a great deal from the time when you were involved in it. Why did you decide to move out of that, or are you still involved in it?
No. I did it because they started with the drugs at that time, and the kids and all that had to carry a revolver and all that, and it was, and then then Nelson Rockefeller asked me to be a director of shortwave, and that's what I did. You know, I sold the theater, and but still I started this kind of cultural, so to have people that love the theater and that they were not used to see things in the theater, you know, in person, and as I say, they were very, very nice. It was always packed. And
I understand that you have a great conviction for the purity of the Spanish language. You are adamant about speaking correct Spanish.
Well, I tell you, you see, what we call an elocutionist, I mean, anybody that talks to the public, has a cultural obligation to speak as correctly as possible because the masses copy us, and especially the youth. The youth, and now what is happening with this so-called Spanglish is that, you see, I was educated with the Maris brothers in Mexico and in Madrid. And these brothers used to tell us, boys, be very careful with something that's getting into your language. It's called Gallicismo. It's a monster called Gallicism. If these people will live today...
No, it's Spanglish.
Spanglish, but not only that, something that the Gallicism didn't succeed in the Spanish now, the phonetics are coming into the thing. For instance, you say, el presidente tiene una revolución. Ahora es el presidente tiene una revolución. In other words, they're
that means the president fears a revolution.
Accentuating the first syllables. The same as in English, the president is afraid of a revolution. No, in Spanish, it's el presidente tiene una revolución. Well, in other words, the Anglicism has get into Spanish, but not only in vocables, but in accents. And it's in Mexico.
Well, some people say that Spanglish is really the birth of a new language. That what's wrong with having Spanish, having English, and having a new language born, just like Spanish evolved from the Latin, for example. What's wrong with having a new language in which a new generation of Hispanic Americans in this country can speak and understand each other well?
Yes, it's, perhaps you're right. I am not, because I've been always trying to be a purist of my language. That's why I have this horrible accent. I've been living in the United States for so many years, and still I have this accent, because I realized I met 3 people in all my life that spoke 2 languages without an accent in either one of them. There's always something, you know, and it's, for instance, Spanish is very simple because we have the vowels, A, E, I, O, U. Once you learn that, you don't have any problem.
And you pronounce it the same way it's written.
That's it. Here, you know, that, for instance, one word. How do you say C-O-Y? C-O-Y.
Koi.
All right. How do you say C-O-Y, Y, C-O-Y, O-T-E?
O-T-E, coyote.
No,
coyote.
No, they don't say K. Coyote. Why C-A is K and Y-O is Yo. And it's a very, very, very difficult language. English is one of the most difficult languages in the world because there are so many exceptions to the rules that it's almost impossible to.
I understand your brother Ricardo often calls you up and consults you on how to use the term Cordova or Cordova in his advertising. How does that work?
Well, he called me, says, look, they want me to say Cordova. It's Cordova, as you say in Spanish. I said, so how much is it? He said, 17,000 and residuals. And I said, say Cordova. But then I go to Miami when he started.
We have to go now. I'm very glad to have you on our show. I really appreciate it. It's a great story. Thank you very much. We'll be right back.
Next, Menudo.
Today, being retarded means leading a full life. Retarded people go to work or school, just like their neighbors, and come back to a real home. A supervised home, right in the neighborhood, where they belong. Being retarded never stopped anyone from being a good neighbor.
Hello, I'm Professor Wise Old Owl. I'd like you to meet some little friends of mine.
Want to play with me? Yes.
Interesting. There really isn't any difference, is there?
For Valentine's Day, your participating Carvel ice cream store has Cupid the chocolate nut. Yeah, he's back. And the twin heart cake in Bordeaux cherries. Isn't that something? Now, these products, folks, are made custom, handmade, fresh in your Carvel ice cream store. Want to send one to a friend in the Northeast or in Florida? Please phone the toll-free number that you see here, and we honor most major credit cards. Thank you.
Being rich is almost everyone's dream. Starting Monday on Eyewitness News at 6, Chi-Chi Williams reports on 5 area residents who give you the bottom line on getting to the top.
If you have something good, do the research. Don't be lazy.
Oh, delicious cookie!
I like the combination of the ice cream and a cookie. It's like childhood.
Meet the man behind the Chip Witch, one of 5 area residents who went from rags to riches. Monday on Eyewitness News at 6.
New York, have we got a week for you on Entertainment Tonight? First, Ally McGraw's got a lot riding on the blockbuster Winds of War.
I know that Winds of War is very, very, very important for my career.
And Ted Knight tells why that other Ted's charm still comes in handy.
Every once in a while, I'll pull them out and save myself, like now.
And watch E.T. put a week-long spotlight on the ladies of the 80s.
It's all on Entertainment Tonight, tomorrow at 7:30, followed by Winds of War here on 7.
Recently, I had the opportunity of meeting with Menudo, the latest rock craze that has hit the city. It's a group of young Puerto Rican kids, ages 13 to 15, that have the young girls going crazy. And if you don't know who they are, just watch.
I'm Miguel, and I am 14 years old.
I'm Ricky, and I'm 15 years old.
I'm Charlie, I am 13 years old.
My name is Javier, 14 years old.
And I'm Johnny, and 15 years old.
Thank you. Well, fellas, you've been compared to the Beatles in Latin America, in South America, and now in the USA. To what do you attribute this great success?
The first thing I attribute that is there's no group for our age. For the age about 14 15, 16, they are from little guys and big guys.
What does menudo mean?
Menudo means leader. Menudo is young and young little boys. But we're not little boys.
La llevo por ti, que lleno sigues y después gaviota vola tras de mí. Siento que he soñado tenerte junto a mí, tan el freno que detenga este amor que siento por ti.
So how do you feel about our first show?
I feel great. I think we've had some pretty good guests here today, and talk about achievements. I think El Exigente gave us a run for our money there with the language.
I'm certainly going to watch myself from now on when I speak Spanish. I'll tell you, no more Spanglish for me.
I know, me too, but it's going to be so difficult because we deal with it every day.
And isn't Placido wonderful? I thought your interview with him was fantastic.
Well, thank you. I think Placido is terrific, and I certainly hope to see a lot of the operatic theaters that he's talking about, you know, just get into place, and let's see if a lot of the kids and a lot of the adults really get involved with the opera as well as the salsa and the rest of it.
We're planning to have a lot more people like Placido and El Exigente here on the show very soon. Every week, every Sunday, we'll be discussing the issues that really concern the Hispanic community in New York.
Including education and housing, unemployment.
Immigration.
The key issues that affect us.
And so we hope that you will come back next week and spend more tiempo with us.
Yeah, that's a little time.
We'll be back next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tomorrow night, Anne Margaret talks about her devastating experience playing a dying mother in the upcoming ABC special, Who Will Love My Children? Watch her on Entertainment Tonight, tomorrow night at 7:30.